What's up, and welcome to the Sisterhood Corner. To the newbies, welcome. To those who've been here before, welcome back. On to the next letter. This one reads, engaged but in love with someone else. Hi, Sisterhood Corner. I am currently facing a dilemma in my life and don't know what to do. I'm a 30-year-old woman who is currently engaged to be married to a wonderful man. To be honest, this guy is the exact guy a lot of women think doesn't exist. To say I'm lucky is an understatement. When I met him, I was struggling to make ends meet and had a young son whose father had dumped me. This man came in and stepped up, giving my son so much love. They have such a great bond, so strong that my son calls him dad. He also assisted me with my schooling. I take it that'll be education when she says schooling. And I graduated. Today, I'm in the health sector, and it's all thanks to him. That is why writing this letter breaks my heart. I met someone else 2 years ago, and we hit it off instantly. Though he is also in a relationship, he seemed unhappy. And over the course of 2 years, we have grown extremely close. Ours is very natural. Ours is a very natural, easy type of connection. It's effortless, and we just gel. We finish each other's sentences and simply fit like a glove. I'm in love with him, and to be honest, meeting him made me realize I'm not in love with my fiancé. All I did was fall in love with what he did for me and my son, but not him. My heart breaks as he will be sending his uncles to my family soon to pay the remaining lobola. This is hurtful as he's preparing for all of this, or as I watch him prepare for all of this while I'm in love with someone else. Though my lover and I have not discussed future plans together, or whether he plans on leaving his woman or not, I still feel like marrying my fiancé will be a big mistake on my part. After thinking long and hard about this, I'm not sure I want to marry this guy. And even if I were to take my lover out of this picture, or should I say this equation, or if he chose to stay with his woman, I don't think my fiancé is a man I see myself with for the rest of my life. Perhaps my lover is an angel sent to help me realize that. Honestly, I think it's in our nature as women to fall in love, to fall for the knight in shining armor as he would have rescued us. But what then happens after the dust settles might not work in the favor of the knight. Oh, wow. I'm at a crossroads. What if I break off my engagement and I never meet a good man after this? Ever again. But what if the other guy is my soulmate and he will realize it later on? What if? That's how she concludes the letter. Well, first of all, thank you so much for writing to us. Thank you for reaching out. And in true sisterhood fashion, with every letter we try and pick up the positive before we give you the truth, which sometimes isn't very nice for you to hear. Okay, kudos to you for actually being honest and saying, listen, this the kind of man that you have is the kind of man that a lot of women don't think exists. So you recognize that this man hasn't done anything wrong to you. You recognize the fact that the man has been kind to you and your son. You recognize the fact that you are where you are because of him, because very few people will say that. There's a lot of people who've been helped by people only to turn around and tell those people, I still would have made it without you. You know what I mean? So I really respect that. And I'd like to believe that you do echo that sentiment to him on a regular, right? Um, and by the looks of things, really, I get the feeling that in the end you will break up with this man. That's what I think. It's just the way you've outlined the letter. And I hope you do still echo the same sentiment that he did not do anything wrong. Right. Now, let's get into this letter, right? I also really appreciate the fact that you honest about loving what he did for you rather than him. You see, whether we choose to judge you or not on that basis, the truth of the matter is that it's very easy to fall in love with what somebody does for you and you assume that's love. We emotional beings. As women, we are emotional beings, and sometimes it's very easy to think we're in love with someone when we're just in love with what they do and the pressure they would have alleviated in our lives. And I mean, naturally, so having been raised on fairy tales, and probably having watched a lot of Nollywood movies, it's natural to think that to end up thinking you're in love with somebody who comes and rescues you. It's I think there's a name for that syndrome, fairy tale or not, Nollywood or not. So I get where that is coming from. um what, however, I'm unhappy about is the fact that you've gone and cheated on him. um and I promise you, if he ever finds out that should you decide to end the relationship and he finds out that you cheated on him, that man will never be the same again. And he will then join the set of men that we always say, we call names, right? I don't think he'll ever be the same again. And there goes another man that we thought didn't exist, but did exist. But unfortunately, something happened and he flipped, right? Not that he shouldn't take accountability for his own actions. We're not excusing him flipping and becoming a player after this, because I mean that's still all about how you react to every situation. So that will all be on him. But I'm just simply saying that heartbreak, we take it differently, they take it differently. So I I'm just a bit, yeah, that cheating part for me, I think that you, honestly, truly speaking, yes, it might take somebody to come into the picture and make you realize you're not in love with someone. But I think that if you are to break up with him, perhaps don't bring that up. Perhaps do explain to him the way you have explained the rest of the explanation, which is how you fell in love with the fact that he became your knight in shining armor. But in all honesty, you know, you're not in love with him. You're more in love with what he has done for you. But I also think that, sure, in these days of GBV, guys, it is these are tricky situations. Only you would know the kind of man that he is. My prayer is that he doesn't turn violent, because we hear all about such stories a lot, where a man invests in the fact that he thinks there will be a great outcome, and then when that outcome that he thought would come back, would be, doesn't be, we start reading scary things hearing scary things in the news. So my prayer is that it doesn't get there. Um, but only you would know the kind of guy that he is. If you think he's capable of violence, perhaps when you break the news to him, because I don't see why you should continue with this guy, because you do say, with or without the lover that you have on the side, even if the lover decides to stay with his person and all of that, you still don't think this is the guy you want to spend the rest of your life with. So it might have taken him, the lover, to make you realize, but I think deep down it's something, you, if you don't see yourself with him, with or without the lover, and the fact that you're saying if he stays with somebody else, it's still fine, it means you're not in love with him. So I don't see why you should continue with this man. You should set him free, and make sure you set him free before he goes and pays off the rest of the lobola. The sooner you stop this charade, the better, because you're clearly not in love with the man. Now, how you're going to break this down to your son at any point, I just don't know how you're going to explain this to him, because the fact that he calls him daddy, I take it means you met the man when the kid was young, and now suddenly that's the only father he's ever known. So now you're not only just breaking the man's heart, you're going to break the little boy's heart. Those are some of the things you need to take into consideration. But this is not me saying you need to stay, all right, in a relationship that you know very well you're not in love with the man. That's not me saying that. I'm just saying you got to think about how you're going to then break the news to the baby boy, how you're going to break the news to the guy, because if he's bonded with the boy and the boy calls him dad, they have a father-son relationship, blood or not. So those are all things you're going to have to take into consideration. But really, more than anything, set this poor man free. I don't see why you don't say how long you've been with him, but whatever, the fact that you've been on having an affair for 2 years, it means that you and this guy helped with your schooling. It means you've been with this guy for a very long time. So the sooner you end it, but whatever you do not mention somebody else, and whatever you do, he better not find out about somebody else. So that's all I can say. End this. I don't know if after this you want to explore with your other lover. Personally, I'd say end this, leave the lover alone as well. If he's truly your soulmate, somehow you guys will find your way to each other at a much later stage. And that wouldn't involve you hurting other people to be together, because also that's never really those type of relationships, very few of them end well. So I think it's time to get out of the relationship, let this poor man go heal and move on with his life. You also sit still, raise your son. Take a moment, figure some things out. What do you want? Introspect. Because I think you're jumping straight, because I can promise you now, with the way that you are, you will go on and continue with this guy and be his side chick. Eventually he marries his woman. By then you're probably too hooked, you get hurt. Right? So you need time on your own, sister. You need time on your own. And also, I don't know how much healing you did after the father of your kid dumped you, because those are the words you used. So perhaps go back there, all the way back, and address that. Go for therapy, address all of those issues, and understand where all of this is coming from. Because sometimes, once you get out of a relationship where a man treated you badly, it's almost like a toxic situation, and you get dumped, you then meet a good man and you start bleeding on him. That often happens. So you need to understand that where all of this started. Once you heal that, then only then can you get into the next relationship. But for now, I don't think you are a safe space for anyone other than your son. Leave the relationship, leave that man alone, stay by yourself. I hope this helps.